Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we will see how to avoid accidentally leaking your secret and sensitive information in your logs. To give an example, if I run all the tests, what we see is if I do a control F on token, we see that our tokens are being exposed here. And if we also scroll up, for example, we can see, for example, our username and passwords are also exposed here. And we want to avoid showing this secret information inside our logs. Let's go to our specification factoring. Let me zoom in a little bit. We want, for example, skip this token, right? So what you can do is if you click here and if you click on config, so we can say set config, and in set config, then it says you can have rest assured config. So if I say rest assured config, and then what you want to do is we want to set the log of config. So if you say log config, and then it expects another log config. So if I say log config dot log config, and then if I put here a blacklist header, I could put blacklist header, and in our case we want to blacklist the header for cookie. So if I mention here cookie, it will skip any header which is marked as cookie. At this moment we don't have a header marked cookie, we have cookies marked as cookie. So for example, if I run it now, this will not make a change. So if I run all the tests, and if I look for token, and if we look for token, we can see our tokens are still mentioned here, so they are not skipped. And this is because this cookie is not really added as a header. So what we can do is, let's say if I say add header, and then if I add a header named cookie, and then if I mention it as token equals, and let's say if I add it as token, now we actually have a header named cookie, and now we will be able to blacklist this header. So if I run the test again, and if we now scroll down, we can see here, for example, in this call, we mentioned cookie as blacklisted, so it is not shown. The token is still visible because it was marked as cookies. So now if I skip this particular line, and if I run it again, and now if you look into the logs, we can see that the header cookie is now blacklisted and the value is not shown. So this is good. Now one more thing that we want to do is, let's say if you want to skip this username and password from being shown, we can come here, let's say add headers. So if I go to the token factory, in the token factory at this moment we are logging all the things that we are getting in the request. So instead of doing a log all, we can actually say log if validation fails. And if by marking this, if I run the test again, so if we scroll down, we are not seeing the body anymore. We still see this token, and that is because we have this log statement where it is logging this token value. So let's comment this again and let's run it. Cool. Now let's search again. What we see is we're not getting the body anymore. There is an instance where this token is being printed. Again, the token is being printed, and apart from that, we don't see it exposed anywhere, right? And it is being exposed because in the response it says log all. So instead of log all, if we say log if error, then these values will only be printed if there is a problem. Okay, and if we scroll up, and if I search for token, we can see there is no key printed as token. So if we scroll down, the cookies are blacklisted, there is no username exposed, there is no password exposed, and everywhere this cookie is being blacklisted, right? So this looks good. Now you might ask, what if you have more than one headers to be skipped? How can we do that, or can we do that? Yes, we can do that. The thing is, you cannot use blacklist header in this case, but you have to use blacklist headers. which accepts a collection of headers. So for example, if you have another header called authorization, and let's say if this was some value, in our case it will not affect us because it will not be used, simply be ignored. But in your case it can happen that you have multiple cookies or multiple headers that you want to skip, and you cannot do like this will not work. So if you give as comma separated strings, this is not going to work. So what instead can work for you is if you do a control X and if you say a list of, and then you can give list of elements, right? So now if you give list of elements, now it will skip both the cookie and the authorization header. So let's run again. Cool. So we have cookie blacklisted, we have authorization blacklisted, and anything that you want to skip from your logs, you can basically specify here, and that particular column will be skipped. So that's it for this video. And in the next video, what I will do is, like at this moment, we are getting too many logs, and logging normally slows down your execution time. So we are only going to publish the logs when something fails, right? So that is something that we're going to cover in the next video. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.